Okay, we're on to the third topic, and that is hydration, which is this is the most important one. You know, I tell athletes all the time that you need three things. You need energy, electrolyte replacement, and hydration. And of those three, by far, the most important is the hydration. And we don't sell water here. It's the number one thing that you can do to improve your performance is to, if you're not drinking enough, is to increase your fluid intake. And most people that I talk to aren't drinking nearly enough. So American College of Sports Medicine, which we rely heavily on because they're an independent body that has no skin in the game, and they've been around for decades, and their job in life is to try and figure out how to make athletes better, period. And their recommendation on hydration is to consume between 16 and 32 ounces of water or fluid per hour. Now, a lot of you are probably saying, oh, yeah, my gosh, there's no way I can drink that much. Well, you can. You just have to learn to do it. Just like anything else, if you're not drinking that much now, you got to train to do it. And where you fall within that range, what I like to tell people is, you know, if it's hot and or humid and you're going hard, then you should be at or near the top end of that range. If it's cool and you're just out for an easy training session or something like that, then you could be towards the lower end of the range. So there've been tons of studies on hydration and dehydration, and they virtually all come to the same conclusion, and that is that the more dehydrated you are, the worse you're going to perform. And you may not even know that you're dehydrated, but you know, if you're doing a multi-hour event, there's no way that you can remain fully hydrated. It's just a question of how dehydrated you're going to be. So the more hydrated that you can remain, the better you're going to perform. And you know that the hydration and the fluids are so critical because it's like the oil in your car provides all the lubrication for the moving parts. Well, the hydration in your body provides all the lubrication for your muscles and ligaments and tendons, among other things. And when everything's working properly and you're fully hydrated, all those soft tissues are kind of flowing across each other smoothly like they're supposed to. But as you become increasingly dehydrated, everything starts to tug and pull, and you're more likely to get cramps. You might get muscle pulls and maybe more serious injuries that sideline you for weeks and even months and sometimes. So, you know, maintaining that hydration is key. Electrolytes play a parallel role with that. I'm going to get into that in the next video. And, you know, staying properly hydrated isn't just important during races and competition. It's equally as important in your training, again, so you can avoid the cramping and injuries, but also so that you can train harder. And that, you know, the better you train, the harder you train, the stronger you become. You know, you get micro tears in your muscles from training, and you recover, and part of the rebuilding process, you become a better athlete, stronger athlete, faster athlete. Well, if you're not staying hydrated, you're not going to be able to do that as well. So the hydration is just, I really can't emphasize enough how important hydration is. And, you know, in races, there's, you know, if you're running a marathon, for example, there's obviously water at the aid stations and things like that. And most people, there's a whole art to that, and I'll probably get into that in another video. But most people don't get enough water because the cups aren't very full. You know, the stations are only like every mile typically in a good race. And you spill half of it trying to drink it. So short version is, when I go through an aid station, I get 2 cups. I get one at the beginning of the water stop and close it, switch hands and kind of close it up like a little purse, and then get another cup before I leave the aid station, so that you can get in, you know, a good cup and a half of water or something like that, depending on how full they are. But and when you're training, you just got to figure out where there's hose bibs, or, you know, how you can get your water. But it's just really, really critical. And I'll tell you, me personally, when I'm going out for a training run or training ride, you know, I'll go to the bathroom first, and if, you know, the best way to tell how hydrated or dehydrated you are is by the color of your urine. Not to get too graphic, but I think you all know this already. And if I go to the bathroom and my urine is at all dark, you know, it should look like Chardonnay. That's the optimum. And if it's too dark, I won't go out I won't start my training yet. I'll drink some water and wait 20 minutes or something like that to get my hydration up, because I just know that my risk of injury is going to go up exponentially if I step out the door dehydrated. And if you think you're drinking too much, you probably aren't, because most people aren't. But if you get sloshing, that's an indication that, okay, maybe you're ahead on your drinking. You may have something else going on. You may have other things going on in your stomach. But if you've got sloshing going on, that's probably a good sign that you could back off on your drinking. So is there a risk of overhydrating or overdrinking? Yeah, there is. There's a thing called hyponatremia, and it's very dangerous. It can kill you. But that's usually, it happens when you drink so much that you end up peeing out all your electrolytes. And it's most likely going to happen to somebody that has consumed too much water prior to their event. You know, people go around drinking gallons of water before their event, you know, the day or two before, so they overhydrate. And they pee everything out, and then they get in the race and don't have any electrolytes. And there's going to be a whole another video on electrolytes. And but again, that's a very rare thing. And I don't know if I'll do a separate video on that. But if you go up to cranksports.com and click on the Learn tab, there's a whole article on hyponatremia if it's something that you are concerned about. So to kind of sum up these first 3 videos in the series, what you want to do is use liquid calories if at all possible. You want to lean heavily on the complex carbs and avoid the simple sugars. The way that you can calculate that, by the way, if you look at the label on a product and you look at the carbs, total carbs, under that you'll see sugars. If the grams of sugars is the same total as the gram of carbs, then that's 100% sugar. So you just divide the sugars by the total carbs to figure out what percentage of the product is simple sugars. And in my opinion, you should be looking for something that's, you know, 30% or less sugar. And then the final thing is to drink. You know, if you don't take anything else out of this series, I would highly suggest that you try and drink more and in your training and see how you feel. I think you will be shocked at how much quicker you recover, how much better you perform, how much better you feel, and how your performance improves. So once again, you know, if you found the content here valuable, then the greatest compliment you can pay me personally is to share it with your friends. I'd greatly appreciate that. And to go back and reference the series, just go back to cranksports.com, click on the Learn tab. All the videos are going to be there, these 3. And then the following videos that we've coming, one's on electrolytes, one's on protein, one's on fructose. I don't have the list in front of me right now, but I already have about 12 scheduled, and I'm sure there'll be more following on that. I think that's it. Thanks for putting up with me.